Hello everyone, my name is Miss Dee Dee and I am the owner and provider of a home child care business. Today I just really wanted to discuss not allowing parents to bully you in your program. It has fallen on my heart to do this video. So it's probably somebody out there who's experiencing this or who has experienced this in the past, and maybe this video can help, or maybe some of our seasoned child care providers can put down their experiences down in the comments section about how they deal with parents like this or kids in their program. So the first thing you really want to do, even before you start a program, or if you have a program in place, is to have a parent handbook. You want to have your policies in place and you want to stick by your policies. Don't just write these things and let them read them and sign and don't follow through, okay? Because that's how you maintain your professionalism and your respect, because they did sign the handbook. And if you haven't established a handbook, that's something that you need to get done, whether you're starting or whether you're already in your program. And if you haven't been sticking by your handbook, you need to go back and revisit that, add some policies and enforce them. Okay. So let's say, if you've been running your program a while, you kind of experienced this, but I'm going to give some examples for people who you could still be experiencing this. Actually, you may have a drop-off time at 9:30 and you have a parent that pushes that and will drop off at 10 or something like that, and you know that you have these times allotted because maybe at 9:10 you wrap up breakfast. Maybe at 9:45 you start your morning carpet time or your morning meeting time with your children. But when you have a parent dropping off during this time, that disrupts your whole day. Okay, so you need to say, no, I will not accept any children after 9:30. And when I tell you, if they come at 10 and you don't accept that child, it will never happen again. It will never happen again. Trust me. And if you get some uproar or some things that, uproar from that parent, then you can always take them back and say, listen, this is what you signed. Okay. You signed this handbook. And in this handbook, that's what it says. And I need you to follow this. Because let me tell you, when these kids start public school, and school lets out at 3:00 or starts at 8, after a certain time, they're tardy. And after a certain time at school, they won't accept kids in the building, right? And if it ends at 3:00, guess what? Parents have to pick up at 3:00. And if they need after school care, they have to sign up for that. We have to, as home child care providers, we also have to, after hours, take care of our families, okay? And if somebody is coming late picking up in your program, that's going to create tension in your own family. And we don't want that, because one thing we deserve and we should have is peace, not only in our program, but in our home and in our personal lives. And when you allow your home child care business or parents to affect your mood, or increase your anxiety or increase stress, that's going to trickle down to your family. And you just don't want those type of problems in your home, okay? So stick by your guns, all right? And some people say, well, Miss Dee Dee, I'm not like you. It's hard for me to tell people this and that. If you have to play this video right before those headlights pull up in the driveway, then you do it and you let it motivate you to tell them, we're not going to do this anymore, And if those parents pull out of your program because of the policies you have in place and you want to enforce them, then it may be for the best, because you want families to respect you. You want them to respect your business and you want them to respect your home, okay? So they may not be a good fit anyway. And just how they came, another family can come. That's a way better fit for your program. So I would recommend, and I think in my next video, I'm going to discuss some things that we're not going to take into 2025 as child care providers. We're not going to take certain things into 2025 that we were doing in 2024, okay? And yes, that's what I'm doing. That's going to be my next video, because I have some things that I need to write down. That's hitting my head right now. I need to write that down. But seriously, if a parent is not a good fit, and sometimes you can have a great parent, but the child may not be a good fit for your program. The child may disrupt. They may constantly bite or hit or hurt other kids. You can't be afraid to terminate, okay? Because if your child were in care with someone, you will want your child to be in a safe environment, okay? And every parent, every child deserves that same, level of care. You want them to be safe, you want them to be nurtured, and you don't want them to constantly get hurt. So don't be afraid to terminate. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't even think about, well, my monthly or weekly tuition will decrease if I let this family go. Is it worth the stress and anxiety? Is it worth the hassle? And it's probably not. And I think oftentimes a lot of these parents think, well, they need the money, so they won't let us go. And that may be so. But I won't allow anybody to stress me or to cause anxiety when I know that there's a solution to this. And the solution would be to terminate. All right. So I would say, if you feel like you're not strong enough to do this, just think in terms of, if your child came to you, or if a family member that you care about deeply came to you and said, this person is bullying me and they're making me do things that don't sit well with me. How would you address that? How would you tell that child to handle that situation, or that family member to handle that situation? And the same energy that you put into telling that person what to do and how to stand up for themselves, I need you to transfer that into yourself and say, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to let them do this to me. I'm not going to let them pick up late. If they pick up late, I'm going to enforce I have $1 a minute fee, right? So I'm going to enforce my $1 a minute fee, and they're going to have to pay right at the door. And on the third time, they're going to be terminated, no matter what. No matter what. If it's 3 times being late, we can't do this, okay? You will find that if you stick to your rules, parents will respect you more. They'll respect your program, and they'll see you and view you as a business owner. You have to have that. You have to have that line there. You have to have boundaries, okay? Because they're going to respect a center. They're going to respect our public school system. They're going to respect those rules. And you need to make sure that they respect you and your program, okay? And that having a parent handbook in place not only helps with that, but it does no good if you don't enforce what you write. All right, so when you give your tours and everything, and you present your parent handbook, don't just say, this is the handbook, you sign the back page. If you say no flip-flops in my program because your child could possibly get hurt, we run around a lot, we want their feet to be covered, then and they come in with flip-flops, you need to tell them, no, you need to go back home and provide shoes. But here, I don't allow flip-flops in my program. So I make the parents bring an additional pair of shoes, and I keep them here at my program. Okay, so that was just an example of something, right? So if you say, hey, if I close at 5 and you pick up at 5:05, that's $1 a minute. That's a $5 charge due at time of pickup. And you may get some people who don't even care about paying you $5 or $10 or $20, but you need to have a cutoff time. Like if you're tardy the second time, yeah, I take that, but the third time we're going to terminate immediately. You get what I'm saying? And when they are late the first time, I will remind them about, hey, you picked up late. And so you do know that if this continues to happen, I will terminate care. Now, I'm not saying be so tough to the point that it may be, come on, because we are human, right? Sometimes things happen. It may be an accident or something like that, but you have to tell, your parents, okay? So if Michael's parent has, in this past year, has never been late picking up, and they're late, something may be wrong, okay? So I'm not saying just be a hardball. You can be understanding, but I'm saying those who create patterns. And you'll get to know those types of people, those who drop off past time, those who pick up late, those who don't provide the diapers, or you have to run them down for diapers and wipes and stuff like that. You'll know the difference. You have to really stick by your guns. And I would, speaking of diapers, because some provider here in my area talked to me about having to run parents down for diapers. Some programs include diapers. Some home child care providers include diapers because they don't want to run parents down. I don't. But I do make them have a certain amount. Sometimes I may say at the beginning of the month, you have to provide a case of diapers. Or if, like every 2 weeks, you have to provide, the case will have 2 sleeves in it. You have to give me half of the sleeve and the other half the other 2 weeks if they can't, I just don't allow that bringing 6 diapers or so many diapers a day. I just don't do that. That's not going to work. That's not going to work at all, because that'll be the day that their kid will, just constantly go, right? If you want us to provide care for your child, quality care, then a parent has to help us do our job, right? If we're working on potty training, and I'm just throwing a lot of things out there that may be in a handbook. If we're working on potty training, you need to probably start that at home. And when they're, like in my policy, if they're 2 weeks without wetting and stuff like that, then I'll continue here. But it's not going to be, yesterday we started potty training. No. And then they want to bring them in with no pull-ups and don't provide. No, we're not going to do that. So I want to stay on topic, but I know a lot of people may have certain things like this in their handbook. You have to stick by your policies. If you don't, your program is going to be all over the place. And when your program is not in order, your mind is not in order. And if you don't show up for yourself, you can't show up for these kids you're taking care of. You can't show up for your family. You have to make sure that your mental and your physical is together. And one thing we're not going to do is allow anybody to shake those things up. Especially, like I said, when we got control of this situation. If it's a parent that's stressing you, maybe you need to have a meeting with them. And if they don't, because oftentimes I think a lot of child care providers will send out like a notice. It may be one parent that's causing this issue, but they'll send out a letter to all parents. No. Sit down and talk to the person who's causing this, because they'll be blind to that form. Sit down and say, and don't be afraid to do this. They may say they don't have time to sit with you and have a one-on-one. Well, you tell them right when they drop off or when they pick up. We need to have a serious discussion about A, B, and C, and we need to make time to do this. This is important. And if they still won't meet with you, then they don't care, and you really have to take notice of things like that. Now, I've been fortunate to have more of the good than the not so good in this industry, right? And I believe it's because I made the conscious decision not to allow people to roll over me, And in the beginning, you're going to make some mistakes. Even as seasoned child care providers, we're going to make some mistakes. But when you make mistakes, that's what allows you to get better, right? So you may have allowed some things in the past and people have just taken full advantage of it. And you say, you know what, my next policy is going to be, I'm not going to do this. And I think this is the most perfect time of the year if you want to get fresh with your childcare business, because we're going to be entering into a new year soon. And you can probably, if you're feeling burnt out because you're staying open too late or you're opening too early, this will be a good time to say moving forward in January 2025, certain things. But I'm going to save that for my next video. But again, I just want to remind you that you have to think about your sanity. You can't allow people to stress you and to cause anxiety or increase your anxiety, increase your stress level to the point where you can't even function enough, where when they're pulling up, this family is pulling up, your heart is racing, you don't know how to deal with this situation. I feel like every child care provider out there should know that we are a community, right? We are a community. We show our classroom setups, we show our programs in action, we show lesson plans and themes and things like that. But we rarely talk about this part of being a home childcare business owner. And when we get new providers out here, they are getting caught off guard with this. And so that's a reason why I wanted to put this video out there. Or sometimes if we've been doing this for a long time, sometimes we'll just lose that zeal and we'll just let things go, keep letting things go. Because we're tired and we're burnt out, But no, we're going to refresh ourselves. We're going to take better care of ourselves so we can show up for our family and for the kids that we have in care. All right, because they deserve the best version of us, and we deserve the best version of ourselves. And the only way we can do that is by taking care of ourselves. Okay, so if we allow certain parents to bully us or certain kids to disrupt our program and to really just have our whole day just turned upside down, then we need to fix that, right? So if we know that that's the problem, then we need to eliminate that, right? So if you're dealing with something like that, you need to sit down with the parent. Like if I have a biter and I'm constantly working with this kid or something, if we've tried the necklace and we've tried everything, but they're just too violent, I terminate immediately, because I have to make sure everybody is okay. I can't turn my back and fix a plate and they bite a baby in the face. I can't do that. All right, I won't do that. But if it's just if it's a behavior that just a child won't listen, then I will give that parent a 2-week notice. If they're not paying, a late immediate termination, those types of things, because I can't have somebody holding a spot that's not paying when I know it's somebody on the waiting list that's more than willing to pay and not cause me this type of grief. So I just want to say, take care of yourselves, home child care providers and owners. Take care of yourself, okay? Take care of yourself, because if you're not together, if you don't have this together, then you can't do your calling. I don't like to call it a job. I like to call it it's a calling, okay, placed on our lives. If we are home child care providers, great ones, it's a calling put on our lives, because everybody is not built to do this job. Trust and believe, everybody is not built to do that. If you're not able to show up for your calling, okay, because you've allowed other people to mess with you mentally and physically, it'll trickle down to your health, okay? If you allow people to do that, anyway, just take care of yourself. You can't allow people to do that, all right? You have to stop. If a person, or if a family, if a child is causing you not to show up in the form of the best version of yourself, then something has to be done. And trust me, when you decide to terminate, you're going to sleep better. you're going to be better to your family. You're going to be better to yourself. You're going to be better to the other kids in care, and they're going to be happy. You hear me? Because when you're stressed, these kids sense it. When your anxiety is high, they sense it. And that's usually a rough day. Okay. When they sense your stress and anxiety, it's like your patience is short. And it's like that's the day that they'll choose to just be all over the place, you know? So please, this is a community here. And we want to show love to the people in this type of community. Just show up for yourself. Show up for yourself. And by doing so, you have to be brave in this. You know, and it's not always easy to terminate a family, because sometimes we love the child so much that we allow ourselves to go through a lot of these things because of that. And don't ever think that a parent does not see that. They will manipulate you because they see the love that you have for their child. Not all parents. I'm talking about the ones who do this type of thing, you know. So you have to swallow that. You know you've done the best for this child, all you can, but you know that in the end, you have to take care of yourself, you know, and you can't allow that child's parent to send you through the ringer, right? So do what you have to do to protect yourself. All right, y'all. I think I've said enough. I think my next video is going to be, like I said, in 2025, things we're not going to take over into 2025. All right. I hope this video, I feel like I was saying a lot, and, you know, and I hope it didn't come off as like I was rambling, but I don't know. But I hope in some ways it helps somebody, because like I said, it fell on my heart to do it. And when God put things on my heart, I have to follow through. And so I hope that this video was able to help somebody. Somebody told me that I need to tell people to start liking the video and subscribing to the channel. But I'll just say, if it's on your heart to like my video and subscribe to my video or share it, then I thank you in advance. And God bless you all. Have a good day. And remember to always show up for yourself and take care of yourself, because won't nobody love you like you can love you outside of God. Won't nobody love you like that. So take care of yourself. All right. God bless you all and have a good one. Bye-bye.